The living lands in Avowed are politically fraught, and navigating it can be a complex affair, so we kind souls at Radio Times Gaming thought we'd lend you a hand for your scheming and machinations by going through all the different outcomes depending on who you side with and what effects they have on the ending montage. These decisions take place in the last hour of the game, but it's also worth noting that your earlier choices in the game, like whether you killed or spared Eagwolf, whether you saved Fior Messeverno or watched it burn, and where you ended up with all the Avowed companion storylines, will also feed into this montage. If you want to see what we could consider to be the happiest ending of Avowed, we would recommend that you unite the living lands. This definitely plays like the most positive outcome in the epilogue, keeping all the locals happy, but it's hard to know if there could be consequences later if Avowed gets a direct sequel or DLC. Aedyr could strike back, of course. But having save-scummed all the endings to this political choice, we can reveal the following findings. The aforementioned uniting of the living lands. This definitely plays like the happiest ending, with all the local leaders getting behind the idea, and if there are any dark consequences for this, we won't see them unless Avowed gets a sequel. The following is how your companions and other characters react, as well as what cards you can get in the ending montage.
Oh.
Solace by grit and
Fior and her animancers.
we deserve this opportunity.
Fighting a battle
God.
Finally, some sense permeates.
on your head. That leaves the matter of Ludwig. You must kill her.
She better say her.
I'm proud. Let's get... The Paradise militia will be at your back. Give her no quarter. The future waits for you.
Shot.
We...
Silence falls over Paradise, as though the city is holding its breath. Then you hear it, the ringing of a distant bell, the waving of banners, and cheers of victory. After a short and bloody conflict, the dust has finally begun to settle. You feel Sapadal close to your thoughts, stirring with interest. The god of the living lands is observing this moment, unfettered by confusion or fear. For the first time in centuries, they understand. The Paradise militia rallies to you, the outsider who defended them in their hour of need. Whatever happens next, you have won their confidence. You take a moment to reflect on the calm. Not so long ago, you arrived at these shores on a simple errand, which turned out to be anything but simple. The dream scourge is over, and the island has been cleansed of plague. A time of healing and mourning follows. People look to you for answers about the source of the affliction. You tell them the truth, how the plague came from a power beyond mortal understanding, and how it is finally at peace. Thanks to you, the living lands has escaped Aedyran oppression. The free settlements unite under a common banner and begin the fraught process of negotiating new traditions and values. The Empire withdraws. The frontier remains wild, but not for long. Fugitives no more. The rebels of Paradise return to their home and to other free settlements, bringing their skills and secrets wherever needed. For once, they have a future. The refugees of Emerald Stair resettle in Thirdborn, bringing their skills and research to aid the local community. What starts as an uneasy partnership blossoms into a bond of trust. Through shared adversity, they find common ground. The ashes of Fior Messeverno continue to smolder. Scavengers avoid the ruins, fearful of spirits unleashed by animancy gone awry. The once promising city is nothing but a cautionary tale. For the people of Shatterscarp, independence is bittersweet. Those who cannot withstand the grief inflicted by Ringgrim's spell leave the settlements, vanishing into the wilderness. Those who remain find themselves forced to cooperate with others, often begrudgingly. With so many dead, the need to stave off hunger outweighs any distaste for certain trading partners. Solace Keep clings to its long-held isolation at first, But after mourning her friend Kostya, Mihala reluctantly deigns to open the doors of the fortress. Some dwarves greet newcomers with glee. Others still mutter darkly about outsiders. Mihala flounders in her earliest negotiations with the rest of the living lands, but slowly learns compromise. She develops a taste for Vailian sweets. When Kai leaves the living lands, he is no longer running. For the first time in many years, he can face the future. He returns to Rauatai, committed to peace for his people, those he left in Rauatai, as well as those he found in the living lands. He joins the Ranganui's council, counterbalancing powerful voices of isolationism and hawkishness. It is a long and difficult battle, and he is happy to fight it. But with his travels alongside the envoy complete, Marius is left directionless once again. Rather than disappearing into his cups, however, Marius leans on his time among his companions to give him the strength to re-enter society and find comfort in civilization. He establishes a route between Paradis and Thirdborn.
Another option for the Living Lands is to become an official colony of Aedyr. The local leaders are quite annoyed and the epilogue is slightly downbeat in places, but it works out fine for the most part. Crucially, Kai won't dump you for this.
I believe you'll find the...
Solus will have no part. Thirdborn refuses to be involved. Test our cannons at your...
Fjord will be free and practice animancy.
Right. More clueless
Wonderful. I'm sure everyone will adore work.
It is decided. I will tell the Emperor's men. That leaves the matter of Ludwine and the Steel Garrote. She will not even the establishment... You must kill her.
What?
She better say her good.
I'm proud to fight it.
Let's get to work then.
The Paradis militia will be at your back. Give her no quarter. The future waits for you.
Now go and teach.
Show them that the living lands will not...
We will send reinforcements to help you reclaim the Eastern Gate. From there... let's just say this is... May all the god...
Let's take back the city. Whatever happens...
So we're going after the Steel Garrote men.
Let's go.
The Living Lands is now a colony of the Aedyran Empire. New governments replace the old. An imperial law reigns over the frontier. An age of order and discipline is just over the horizon. You showed the rebels of Paradis mercy, but they can never trust the Empire. Instead, the refugees of Emerald Stair resettle in Thirdborn, bringing their skills and research. The ashes of Fior Messiverno continue to smolder. Scavengers avoid the ruins, fearful of spirits. The older Thirdborners who remember Rauatai know that life under an empire is cyclical. In time, Aedyr's might will fade. But the younger kith of the settlement remember what Thirdborn used to be, while having lost so many to an archmage's spell, and straining under the yoke of an empire. Despite the line of Aedyran ships bearing fine goods, their rage is a powder keg that sits and waits. For a brief but hopeful moment, Solace Keep opens the fortress doors to the new rulers of the Living Lands, allowing Aedyrans to come and go as they please. But the peace does not hold. Lacking patience for the Empire's unyielding demands, Mihala shuts the doors once again, issuing a warning. Those who trespass in Solace Keep will not leave alive. The Aedyrans waste no time gathering their forces, for an example must be made. When Kai leaves the Living Lands, but the most unexpected boon of Kai's adventures is the romance that blossoms with the Envoy. With his travels alongside the Envoy complete, Giada learned much in your time together. How to stand up to no longer under the threat of imminent. Freed from torment for the first time in centuries, Sopadal turns their prodigious curiosity to the people that shaped them. Sapadal has questions about what happens tomorrow, and the day after. You do your best. The sounds of celebration pull you out of reverie. Many are waiting to greet you.
You can also attempt a Grefram. This one works pretty well, and it's what the local leaders will actually vote for if you give them the chance. It definitely feels like a compromise though, with neither side being particularly thrilled, but it works out for now. The following is what you can expect.
But whatever you decide... The living land, the grave. They would divide the island, the end in return.
We give up. Can you?
A grave, bro, and we'll have
With the Empire, if we accept this deal, I fear we are building a trap.
Of course. The living soldier, their road, our turn, this.
What me?
Under, I can.
Of course. Oh, think not unless he would think.
It's a nice, but
With the envoys together, it would be the...
Well, envoy, give these people. Wodaka have... Well...
So this is what I want.
the Living Lands is going to need trade partners if...
I must throw in with Thirdborn.
Well, it's hardly unanimous. A grave room it shall be, then.
I do not trust your empire to show restraint.
We can worry about the future when it comes. This at least gives us the backing.
Right. Might as well go ahead and...
Good. We'll have perhaps a whole week of peace before the yoke starts chafing.
I will do my level best to convince the Emperor to accept a grave room.
With your guidance, the Living Lands becomes a vassal of the Aedyran Empire. In exchange for their taxes and soldiers, the free settlements are protected from future attacks. The fight for survival is over. You showed the rebels of Paradis mercy. The refugees of Emerald Stair reset the ashes of Fior. Though Aedyr has promised that the Living Lands will retain their autonomy, not everyone in Shatterscarp trusts the Empire. But many Aedyran ships sail into the Grave Room's ports, bearing fine linens and aged wines. These ease the painful memory of the day Reengrim culled their people. After the Living Lands is declared a vassal of Aedyr, Solace Keep reluctantly opens the doors of its fortress, though not before numerous missives are sent to Mihala demanding the grave room be honored. Her reluctance costs the dwarves. The Pargrunen are never favored in trade negotiations, and are the last to be supplied by Aedyran caravans. But the Wardens have rounder bellies than anyone can remember.
But if you think the denizens of the Living Lands don't know what's best for them, you can of course join the Steel Garrote. There's no surprise that joining the baddies is quite a dark ending. All your companions will leave you and the leaders will be very annoyed. Romance with Kai won't work. And in terms of what actually happens, you essentially see a darker epilogue where the Steel Garrote are strongly implied to be ruling with an iron fist and subjugating the people of the Living Lands, as can be seen in the following clips.
But whatever you decide, understand. Well? So,
I thought you were...
You're a rat-fuck bastard, envoy. I was a fool to ever trust you.
May the militia have your head for... After everything we've seen and done, I'm returning to my people.
I thought we were a crew, Envoy. But you're betraying everything we fought for.
I guess you made your choice, huh? Good work.
After all the Steel Garrote have done, you choose them.
Hurry now. Find Ludwine and let her know what we've done.
Be clever, be swift, for I fear your life is forfeit. And be well. Go now, on Helia's wings.
This is
I would have
bullshit.
understood you sticking with Aedyr after all this, but the Steel Garrote, that's where I draw my line. That ended when you agreed to take up arms against Paradis. Maybe that's what stings the most. I really thought we understood each other, that it doesn't matter. I'll always be grateful for how you helped me make sense. And now I understand myself well enough to know that helping you would be a decision. Soon, goodbye.
Give me one more moment of your time. It's the last thing I will ever ask of you.
Do what you're gonna do, Envoy.
What's that? Got any other Nimdu? Since that skeletal Korba stuff, I've come to think of you. You have lost your something. I guess you think the Quiet. I consider us friends, or I did. But you won't see me again after. Just Duke de Dragu, Envoy.
Well. Oh, it must be lovely to be able to show yourself as the monster you so clearly are. Explain what? Do you really think you have consigned all of the yoke of Aedyr will crush everyone? It's stunning to know that after all we've been through, this is truly a horrible surprise. Before this... No, I don't know you. Good luck, Envoy. Leave me be.
I have not... Don't say I did. After I was banished, you were there for me. And the Envoy I knew, they burned my city to the ground. It's one thing for you to step in line with your idiotic countrymen. They're big, but what really gets under my skin? So you answer me one question. Somehow, let's make one thing clear. The siege has got to stop. Against my better judgment, I even hope you survive. Your death would be significant. But I can't stand by and watch you bend the knee to Don't apologize. Don't make me... It's funny. I don't invite hatred into my heart. But I made an exception. Shame I won't get the chance. Not in this lifetime.
The Living Lands is now a colony of the Aedyran Empire, and you are its king. The Ascendant Steel Garrote demand that you rule them with a strangling fist, and you oblige them. Under your leadership, all worship of the gods is outlawed, save for worship of Wodaka. You replace the settlement's leaders with loyal captains from the Steel Garrote, and your followers work tirelessly to tame the frontier. Though you promise them an age of order and discipline is just over the horizon, peace forever feels just out of reach. You find yourself looking over your shoulder. You wait for a knife in the back. You showed the rebels of Paradis mercy, but they can never trust the Empire. You showed the rebels of Paradis mercy once, but they can never The refugees of Emerald Stair resettle in Thirdborn, bringing their skills and research. The ashes of Fior Massiverno continue to smolder. The older Thirdborners who remember Rawatai know that life under an empire is cyclical. In time, Aedyr's might will fade. But the younger kith of the settlement remember what Thirdborn used to be, while having lost so many to an archmage's spell, and straining under the yoke of an empire. Despite the line of Aedyran ships bearing fine goods, their rage is a powder keg that sits and waits. For a brief but hopeful moment, Solace Keep opens the fortress doors to the new rulers of the Living Lands, allowing Aedyrans to come and go as they please. As the flames die down in Paradis, Marius finds himself in the familiar state of being alone. He bids farewell to those he has come to know as companions, and sets off for the wilderness, where he finds solace in the constant battle for survival. Aside from trips to Paradis or Thirdborn for supplies, he keeps his distance from civilization, disappearing into the wilds and taking his doubts and anxieties with him. Giada learned much in your time together. How to stand no longer under the threat of imminent death.
If you don't play your cards right though, but want to join Inquisitor Ludwin, a particularly unpleasant fate awaits you, but we'll cover that in a separate boss battle guide, so keep your eyes peeled. And that's about it for all the political differences. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please do give us a thumbs up and share it with any other Avowed players with political aspirations. If you want to see even more guides, reviews, previews and more, then why not give the Radio Times Gaming YouTube channel a wee subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.